Welcome to Chi-Town Cigar Podcast, the podcast where three Chicago guys light up a fine cigar and get into everything from sports and current events to hobbies, life's little moments, and everything in between. Whether you're here for the cigars, the conversation, or just some good laughs, we got you covered. So grab your favorite smoke, settle in, and join us for laid-back chats with a Chicago twist. Now it's time to put some smoke in the air.
It's Tuesday night in the Windy City, and that means another episode of Chi-Town Cigars, where brands meet cigar enthusiasts. Whether you're joining us live or catching us later on the replay, we're glad you're here. Every week, we bring together premium cigar enthusiasts, industry leaders, brand owners, master blenders, and the people behind the cigars we all enjoy. So pull up a chair, light your favorite cigar, grab your favorite beverage. Welcome to the Virtual Cigar Lounge. Now let's start the conversation. There he is. Hey. You guys are both on mute. Let me take you off of mute.
Hi, Mike.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Awesome.
Teddy?
Excited for tonight.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. So let's welcome in a couple people and we'll get our show started. We got Fireborn. What's he talking about? Finish the Fuente Double Chateau Natural. Got a short story on the deck for round 2. That's good. David K, welcome. Glad you're here. TX Rebel, good evening. David K. Fireborn says he has the longest comment. Why am I third? Unfair. I don't know. Mike Echo. Yeah, we don't know what's going on. We have tried that and tried to figure it out. We don't know what's going on. So if you still hear the echo, let me know. But if not, then we'll figure it out. Uh-oh.
I think it's better.
It's better until we bring in Marty and we take Marty off of mute.
Marty's on mute?
No, Marty was on mute. Now Marty's gone, so we'll see. Do you still hear the echo? I'm asking our audience.
No, like there's no echo. It's really weird. I don't know. That's maybe something in the background with.
I don't know. But yeah, the echo stopped for now. So who knows? It's Marty. All right. Well, our guest is in the green room. Let us get to our mission because I am excited about this show. So let us get this ball rolling. Jon Simons is the president and co-founder of Warfighter Tobacco Company, a premium cigar company built by combat veterans, centered around brotherhood, camaraderie, and thankful for us, some damn good cigars. Jon served with the 101st Airborne Division, deployed to Iraq during the 2003 invasion as an M240 machine gunner. From there, his journey included firearm industry, motorcycles, competitive shooting, and eventually the cigar business. So basically, if it involves guns, motorcycles, cigars, or anything else our wives probably wish we didn't spend money on or spend less money on, Jon seems to be involved in it. But tonight, we want to go beyond the cigars, hear the story behind Warfighter, how it started, what the company represents, how Jon's military experience helped shape the brand, and where Warfighter Tobacco is headed. So grab your cigar, pour yourself something good, pull up a chair, and let's welcome to the Virtual Cigar Lounge, Jon Simons of Warfighter Tobacco Company.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Jon? How you doing?
What's up, Jon?
Great. Just another day of chaos. But other than that, everything's good. Sorry, I'm a little late, guys.
That's okay. That's okay.
I do it all the time.
Yeah. Going for it. So we're waiting. We've had some technical difficulties ourselves. Marty, our third co-host, was here, but when he comes into the room, we all echo. So he might be trying to figure something out. So who knows? But
I jumped in earlier, and for about 2 seconds, I could hear everybody, and then it went completely quiet. And I was like, "Oh!" And so I left and came back.
Yeah. Yep. So welcome to the Virtual Cigar Lounge. I sort of mentioned this to you before, but we do encourage a lot of our audience members to chime in, throw other questions at us, so that way we're not just talking to each other. We're
Right.
I'm not talking with you. We're talking with everybody, and we're getting everybody involved. But before we go any further, let's talk about what we're smoking. And I will go first, and I will tell you that I'm smoking the night shift.
Awesome.
I was a night shift guy for 10 straight years.
Okay.
Carrying the midnight shift. So I know exactly what this cigar is about. I wish this cigar was around when I was carrying the night shift, because I would have helped me make through quite a few of my shifts. So yeah, this is a great cigar. Teddy, what are you smoking?
The 50 cal filled Maduro.
Okay.
Man, I just sparked this up and it's already tasting good. So yeah, let's see how this is going, you know?
That's awesome. And I am smoking one of our new San Andreas. So it's a semi-new blend. We had it out, and it was originally under the name of the Hero Sports cigar, and it was linked with a nonprofit. We do a lot of stuff for veterans in the very little amount of off time that we get. And so we were heavily involved with a nonprofit called Hero Sports. We would take guys outside, just period, hunting, fishing, just anything outside of a building, you know.
Okay.
And it went out great until the nonprofit imploded. And so we can't really do a cigar that, you know, $1 per cigar goes back to a nonprofit when that nonprofit doesn't exist. So we did not have this blend for about 3 years. And then with enough demand from all the smokers and consumers that are out there, we pretty much got tired of hearing, hey, when's the San Andreas coming back? When's the San? So we brought it back this year. And it is just as amazing as it was back then. Maybe even a little better. Just, I'm a huge fan of San Andreas, and it's been a while since I got to smoke them. So,
and that answers one of my questions. I was going to ask you, say, why did you bring it back? So yeah, I'm a huge fan of San Andreas. It's probably one of the cigars. When I see anybody come out with San Andreas, I know I'm going to love it, and so I'll run right after it. So yeah.
But to the point, I'm playing around with some blends with San Andreas as a binder right now, just because I really like the flavors that come out of that leaf, whether it's on the outside or the inside.
Okay. yeah, absolutely. Marty's here, and the minute you come in, we all echo. I don't know what it is.
It's a conspiracy. You're going to have to mute me the whole show.
Well, when you have a question, you come in and you ask your question, then we'll bring it back out and mute you. So I mean, I'll start, and I'm usually the person that talks way too much on this show. Did you say yes?
Yes.
But I'm ashamed to say I just learned of Warfighter probably last year. So here I'm thinking you guys are a brand new cigar company. I'm thinking, oh, this is a great, you know. And then as they start doing research and learning and buying your cigars, I'm like, oh my God, these guys have been around for now 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years this year.
It's unbelievable.
So it's interesting in the cigar industry, right? There's companies that are, you know, a fraction of how old we are, that are huge, and everybody knows about them. I'll use West Tampa Tobacco as an example, right? They've been around, I think, 3 years now, maybe.
Yep.
And they exploded. But Rick and the guys that he has working for him and his partners, they've been in the industry for collectively, 20, 30 years, something like that. You know what I mean? When we started, none of us were in the industry.
All right.
We were smokers, but we weren't reps, or we didn't work for another brand, or have a lounge or anything like that. And so the passion project came out of love, not a necessity to make money. But then we realized that it's really hard to get people to, you know, recognize a new brand in this industry, because there's no mainstream way of advertising or getting in front of everybody across the entire country, let alone the globe. You know, and we've tried, you know, print publications, we've tried online stuff. Sorry, my puppy's barking in the background.
That's okay. Mine usually does it. So
it's funny. I'm upstairs, and I've built a little cigar lounge in my house. So I'm upstairs, I have a dump fan in the window, so you can't see anything out the window. So I have no idea what she's barking at. But yeah, I mean, we tried print. We've tried doing, obviously we still do podcasts and any podcast that we can get on. Being able to engage directly with the smokers is the best way that we found possible. Like print magazine, in theory, you're going to be like, yeah, this is awesome. Right. I see them in every single cigar lounge I walk into. Yeah. But you ever seen somebody reading one? You know what I mean? Let alone paying attention to the ads and be like, oh, you know what? Let me go see if they have this in here, you know?
Yeah.
And so our biggest bread and butter that we found pretty much since day one is social media, and using it. And so everything that we've built, it's all been 100% organic. If we could have paid for it, we would, but it's just not how it works. And so we, it's that just grassroots effort, beating the pavement, getting out there, doing events, trying to do and see and talk with as many people and things and places as we can. And, but it's kind of like a silver lining almost when I hear somebody that's like, oh, you know what? I've never heard of you. And I'm like, awesome. There's more customers. There's more people that when they get the opportunity to have one of our cigars, they're going to be like, oh shit, these are actually good. You know what I mean? And then, go from there. So,
yeah, this is my first impression. Like this is really good. This is not even 1/3. This is burning beautiful. It tastes beautiful. This is really good. What factory are you coming from? Like,
so we use Tabacalera Carreras, which is Esteban Carreras factory in Esteli. We've been with them. We switched actually the 24 hours before COVID hit and the world shut down. We just landed back in the States from going to Nicaragua and meeting with the factory, reconstructing all of our blends and everything, and getting a good production schedule to move forward. And we did that, and we're like, you know what? Yeah, this is a good idea. Okay, cool. We're going to switch, put everything in full production. We land back in the States. 24 hours later, the whole world shuts down. Like, thank God we switched, because we got cigars throughout COVID the whole time, even though everything in Nicaragua, Central America is all supposed to be closed. They didn't have the social programs that we had here. Meaning we didn't get, Nicaragua didn't get COVID checks. Right. They didn't have all the stuff that we had here in the States. And so when their government said your business is closed, that was it. They had no income. They had nothing. So we thankfully had the capabilities of allowing some of the workers to continue working through COVID, even though they technically weren't supposed to. But it kept money in their pocket, food on their table. It kept their lights on and their family happy. And so we didn't talk about it a lot because we don't want to get anybody in trouble. But we had a steady stream of cigars all through COVID, thankfully. But yeah. And then now, like I said, we've been with them now for, 6 years, maybe a little bit more. And couldn't be more happy. The level of quality control, the quality of tobaccos that we can get and have access to, the stuff that we grow, the ability to be able to do some really fun, cool projects and limited edition stuff and short runs, and just having more ability to be hands-on and more freedom to kind of do whatever we want to do. We were with Plasencia when we first kind of went out the gate, and we were with them up until we switched, and it was awesome. It definitely gave our brand a little bit of notoriety in the beginning, because we're like, oh yeah, cool, you're new, cool, where's your cigars made? And we're like, Plasencia, and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? I was like, hey, look at that. And we had great cigars. Absolutely love the Plasencia family, but we were a really tiny fish in a really big pond. And, they're just things fell through the crack. Timelines were a little longer than we expected. And for the projects that we wanted to do and some of the limited edition things we were doing, we just needed something we could do, have a little bit more freedom in. Cool. And not saying that we won't, do something maybe down the road back with Plasencia. Just they make good shit.
Marty, do you have a question?
Did I fix my problem?
I hear an echo still, but
you still do? No, I didn't have a question.
All right.
I got a question, John. So you went from serving in the U.S. Army to working as a motorcycle mechanic, right, and running in a gun store, launching a boutique cigar. What was the biggest culture shock from, because you said obviously, you didn't came from,
from the
having
industry, right? Yeah. So actually, there's about an 8-year period in there that I didn't talk about. And after I got out of the military, the transition coming from military service into the civilian world was, I mean, you ask any guy that got out that, during those time frames, and the transition wasn't easy. And so I like to think my transition was a little easier than some other people. When I was in the military, I was working side jobs, and I was doing security at bars and clubs, and then I learned how to bartend. And so after I got out of the military, I immediately went into bartending, not because like it's good money and it's fun or anything like that. I get to drink for free. That was it. And because all I wanted to do after I got out is drink and get in trouble, And so I bartended for about 8 years until I realized like I can't do this for the rest of my life. So I got to figure something out. And so then I went and got factory certified for Harley and Honda and wrenching on bikes. Had a whole plan to work my way up to master tech, open my own motorcycle shop, and blah, 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 all this fun stuff. And then I ended up living in Europe for about just shy of about 4 years. And so because I wasn't working in a dealership when I lived there, I lost all my certs. You have to be, if you go more than 12 months, all the new model year changes come out and everything, and you're so behind the curve that they just can't keep you factory certified anymore. So when I moved back from Europe, that's when I started working at the gun store. And guns are kind of feast or famine. And so we were looking for a product to supplement the gun store. And, as we're smoking cigars, right? And we're like, maybe we should do this. Like, it's tobacco, it's regulated. So we go down a different rabbit hole. We always kept circling back on cigars. And so we're at SHOT Show in Vegas, the big trade show for the guns. That happens every, I think, January. And so we're out there and we're kind of drunk one night. And I was kind of like, you know what? Screw it. We're doing cigars.
Wow.
And so that was January 2016. February 2016, we started the LLC. In August of 2016, we went live with sales.
Wow.
So it was once we decided, it went pretty quick after that. And, it doesn't sound like it was quick, February to August, you're 6-7 months. But to bring cigars to market in that amount of time, that's, and we didn't know what we didn't know. So we're like, awesome. Well, yeah, this is great. Where do we get bands? Who makes the boxes? Yeah. How do we import? You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of process. What were you in Europe? What country?
I was in Belgium.
Belgium.
Yeah,
nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Belgium
food was
awesome.
great. The beer was just insane.
Yeah.
And then, the food's not trying to kill you. At the time, the people were decent. Who knows now? But this was 2012 to 2015 ish, 2011, 2015, somewhere in there.
So now you just recently, I shouldn't say just recently, but it was recently that you moved into the president's role for Warfighter.
Correct. Yep. So, towards the beginning of this year.
Yeah. So you're in the role. Did you all of a sudden look and go, holy shit, Scott's dealt with a lot more shit than I thought he did?
Every day. Every day. It's one of the things that, it doesn't matter how many books you read or podcasts you listen to about business, YouTube, whatever. It doesn't matter until you're in that position. And then it's like, okay, like this, everything just got real now, right? I'm not just doing my job and somebody else has responsibility. It's the buck stops with me, and that's every buck. It doesn't matter what the problem is, big or small. What forms need to be filed with who, and permits and this and that and insurance and payroll. I mean, there's so much more that goes into it that's, really not talked about, or even if it is, it's just like, oh yeah, and then there's that too, but when it all lands on a plate, that plate gets full real quick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. And especially from the tobacco side, because you did say it, we're under fire every day of the year.
Yep.
So there's people just waiting for you to make that mistake to go, that's it. Your license is gone. That's it. So yeah, it's not easy.
You know, when we first started, part of our original business plan was a percentage of everything that we made, not what we sold, just what we had in production, was just immediately going to get pulled aside and sent to guys that are overseas, right? Well, I don't know if you remember what happened in 2016 when the FDA dropped all their deeming rules. And that was one of them, that no samples, specifically to service members deployed overseas. Thankfully, Cigars for Warriors spun up. And Storm is an amazing human being. And, you know, all the stuff that we've done with those guys over all the years kind of helped fill that void that we had to change when we started. Because, you know, we got into the industry and there was nothing. It was business as usual. And then all those deeming rules got put in place and the comments opened and everything. And then it's been 10 years, you know, and even now we're like, yeah, we won that lawsuit, right? The judge ruled for the industry. That's amazing. That's awesome. And now tariffs.
Yes.
It's like, come on, guys. Like, just let us do our thing, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, now the worst thing is, I mean, we saw it last week, is the whole Nicaragua thing. So now all of a sudden,
oh my God,
you know, now it's like, oh, we're not going to have elections anymore. And like I was saying on the podcast here, I said, that's when the U.S. gets involved in stuff. You know, when all of a sudden you start, you know,
it's like, dude, like, you're not supposed to say the quiet parts out loud. Like, we're all aware that when you appointed your wife co-president, that was probably the end of any, you know, democratic style elections that are going to happen there.
Yep.
We're aware. You don't have to announce it to the globe. Like, that's how you, like, I don't know if maybe we have more channels than you have, but like, did you miss what just happened in Venezuela? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That happened like 6 minutes.
Yeah. It's funny you talk about getting cigars overseas, because my son is currently serving and he's on a sub.
Awesome.
And so there's a group of us here in Chicago that said, hey, you know, I said, hey, they're surfacing and we can get them cigars. And so we put together a package. So I got it to my daughter-in-law. She's like, Dad, you don't know how difficult it was to get this stuff overseas.
It's tough.
It's, you know, she's divvying it up amongst her friends going, hey, we're all going over there. Can you pack these in your suitcases and stuff like that? Because it was, but you talk about guys that love it. I asked him, I said, can you guys smoke cigars on a sub?
When they surface?
No, they can smoke below.
Oh, really?
There is a smoking area. Yeah. He told me, you know, he wouldn't tell me where, but he said, yeah, he goes, so he was very popular on the boat to be able to say, I've got it. And guys would be like, hey, can they get one of those? You know, like, you know, but yeah, I mean, you know, God bless those guys that overseas that are doing this. That I see the pictures for Cigars for Warriors and just a smile in their faces.
Oh yeah.
When they get a stick.
Yep.
And
years ago, we had some submariners that they sent us some pictures when they surfaced. And they're all sitting up in the crow's nest and smoking cigars, and they're all smoking Warfighters, and like, it was awesome. Like, that's the kind of stuff that we love seeing.
Yeah,
because it's the whole reason that we did everything. You know, when I mean, now because we just did a little bit of a rebranding about a year and a half ago or so. We changed it. We used to have a field line of cigars and a garrison line of cigars. And the field line was designed for a little bit lighter in strength on purpose, because we didn't want a guy sitting in a machine gun or, you know, behind a machine gun getting a big nicotine buzz or something like that, right? Subdued bands, you know, nothing shiny or flashy or reflective or anything, and like, it worked. And then the garrison line, a little bit bolder, a lot more strength. You can smoke when you're back in the rear, fancier band, the whole nine. To us, made perfect sense, right? Average cigar smoker who's not military, they're like, what? Oh, shit. So now we have a field line, then we have our garrison line, completely separate. And our field line has calibers: 5.56 field Connecticut, 7.62 field Sumatra, the one you're smoking, Teddy, the 50 cal field Maduro. And then we have our garrison Corojo, garrison Rosado, and garrison Oscuro Maduro. Those 6 blends we call our core line. And then all the rest of the offerings that we have, we call them our specialty cigars. The core line we offer in multiple sizes. The specialty cigars come out in just that size. So like this San Andreas comes in this one size, 6x52.
Oh, nice.
Our 10th anniversary, 6x52. That night shift that you're smoking, 6x50. We also have, we call our dumpster fire, which is our version of a Cuban sandwich. A little bit more cost-effective cigar. I think they retail like $6.50, somewhere around there, maybe $7, depending on the state you're in. And we put long filler leaves on the inside, a little bit of mixed filler, a nice Habano wrapper on the outside. But we call it a dumpster fire because we believe in truth in marketing. You know, we're not going to try to bullshit our customers and be like, oh no, that's a great cigar. Like, I don't know what it's going to taste like. It's mixed filler, you know. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And then so we did San Andreas 10th night shift. We did dumpster fire. We have our 5th edition victory. We did a very short run on this batch. It's a Brazilian Mata Fina wrapper, Nicaragua binder filler. And to get the quality of that wrapper, depending on when we're purchasing, sometimes we can get a bunch, sometimes we can't get a lot. This time we couldn't get a lot. So our 5th edition is only a 350 box run. And they're 10 count boxes. And we do have some bundles available because we do some things with events and promos and stuff with that cigar as well. And I think right now we got about 120 boxes left, and that's it. And then we just finished box and band design for our 6th edition victory. So that cigar always stays the same blend. We just changed the vitola, the shape of it, every single time we do a new edition.
Okay.
And so we're hoping to get that out maybe by the end of the year, but we'll see. But that kind of covers the majority of the lineup. We have one other cigar that's available, but it's not for sale.
Yes.
And that's called the Redacted cigar. Yes. And we've had that out. We kicked that out not on purpose. It just happened. That's when it landed and was available on April 1st of last year. Everybody thought it was an April Fool's joke. And we're like, no, guys, we're serious. Sorry, it's April 1st. But so that's our event and promo cigar. So you can't buy it anywhere. It's never been for sale. You can't find it online. We don't even have it listed on our website. And but if we're doing an event, that's the promo cigar for the event. So typically we do, like, you buy 4 cigars, you get one of these free. The only way you can get it is at an event, or we do the first of every month on our website. But you got to buy more. Yeah. Just we're pre-COVID, events were awesome. People would show up in the masses, right?
Yep.
Post-COVID, for some reason, everybody's like, I'm good. I'm just going to stay in my house. You know what I mean? And so we're trying to figure out a way, okay, how do we get more people out at events? Like, I know that we've done events here before and they were awesome. So why do we have 60% of the people that we had post-COVID, instead of pre-COVID? So we started doing that Redacted cigar, and we found out that almost every event that we're doing, no matter where we're at, we're getting a pretty good turnout. Most of the events that we're doing, we're selling out of whatever we had, for inventory. And everyone's having a great time. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't understand the whole thing. 'Cause I've been to quite a few brick and mortar events, and it's like, where's everybody at? Where's everybody at?
But then some of the big, like, multi-vendor, like, big events, like 500 plus people, they're still packed. They're still selling out in, under an hour. But you try to get guys to go to a local lounge, and it's just like, okay, what's going on? Where's the disconnect? Like, what's the problem to prevent people from going out and hanging out and being social like we used to be, or is it like, what is it? I don't know what it is. I wish I knew, because then I could solve it.
Because NFG, which I know you guys participate in NFG, NFG
every year for 9 years.
That thing sells out so fast. Even their virtual tickets sold out fast last year. I was like, holy cow, I couldn't even come close to getting one. I got one 2 years ago. Yeah. But I mean, and it's crazy. And I don't understand what the disconnect is. It doesn't make any sense to be able to go, hey, if I can walk into a lounge and see one vendor there, why wouldn't I just go and at least talk to one vendor as opposed to,
and like, I go to events when they're not even ours that we're putting on. Another brand, if I know them, it's even better, because then I get to hang out and bullshit or whatever. But like, I want to see how other people are doing it. I want to see what other people are showing up. I want to smoke their new stuff to see, okay, what are you guys trying to make? What is this supposed to taste like? So I can try, do they have swag? Do they have promo cigars, event only stuff? There's some people look at this industry as everybody in it is competition, and I can't like anybody and whatever. And I look at it as there aren't any bad companies in this industry. There's just a handful of bad people.
Mm-hmm.
And those people can,
Yep.
yeah.
We got a question. We got a question from Fireborn. Wants to know what trimmings go into the dumpster fire.
So we use trimmings from our core line of cigars. So the field line and the Garrison line, all the trimmings that are off of that are all mixed together. And then we do a couple pieces of long filler just to help with construction, and a little bit of consistency, and then a Habano wrapper.
Nice.
So it just kind of depends. If they did a really good job mixing everything up, then you might have two dumpster fires that have semi-similar flavor profiles on it. If they did a bad job mixing it up, you might get, really heavy Rosado, features out of our Garrison Rosado cigar because there was the majority of that. Or it might be another one, or, it might be a mix of two instead of the mix of six because that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's sort of I've got one. I've got one, and I was debating between smoking that and smoking this, and I identified more with the night shift. So I said, okay, but it's almost exciting to be able to go, okay, I could smoke two different dumpster fires and get two different cigars. So
right, like I haven't had any that are bad, but I also haven't had many that are very similar.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, this is two completely different cigars. Like, no. But you're like, ooh, I didn't get this flavor profile, this tasting note out of the last one I smoked. So if you get a 5-pack, you might get, a range of different flavors that come out of those cigars, or they might be pretty consistent, but we're not trying to tell you that this is a long filler premium cigar, that your flavor notes are going to be this and only this, and it's this bodied and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's probably more on the lighter end of medium. It'll stack an ash, which is crazy for a Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're good. We have guys that are like, yeah, that's the best cigar I've ever smoked. And I was like, oh man.
How many brick and mortars are you in the United States?
Currently we're in about 250 stores across the country.
Nice.
That's another really hard part about this industry. Like, we don't have a sales team that covers the United States. Warfighter Tobacco is 3 people. And we have a broker that covers the Southwest. But yeah, it's really hard to try to cover, every shop all over the place, especially how this industry likes to service the accounts, right? There's a lot of shops that expect you to be in there, every 6 weeks. And if you're not, no face, no space. Sorry, guys. If you're not coming to see us, we got no room in the humidor for you. It's like, shit. Okay. So we're very open and honest about it. Like, if you want to carry the cigars, we don't have a problem selling them. Once they're on a shelf, they move. We have a lot of smokers all across the country. We do have a good product. We stand behind it. We do a lot of things that are, encourage all of that. But we just can't be there every 6 weeks. Even some of the local shops, like I'll walk into a local lounge here in Texas and they're like, man, I haven't seen you in months. I'm like, yeah, we've been covering the other 49 states. Like Thursday, I fly to Fairbanks, Alaska. And I'm up there for 5 or 6 days. I was just in Honduras 2 weeks ago. I was in Montana a week before that. I'm in Arizona in September. This year has been insane travel wise, but it's good just doing cigar events and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, so if a shop wants to carry us, we're all about it. We'll support them every way that we can, try to get out there and do an event and all that kind of fun stuff. But we'll tell them straight up, like, look, I can't be there every 6 weeks, but my phone is always on, and I know yours is too. So whether it's text message, phone call, email, smoke signal, I don't care how you get a hold of me. Whatever it is, whatever you need, I'll get it for you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I want to make it 251 on the cigar lounge that I'm the manager at. So
awesome.
Are you any shops in Illinois?
So way back in the day, I did a sales trip up to Chicago. Because we were still, when we first started, we were based out of Nebraska. And so I hit up a whole bunch of shops up there, but I didn't know anything about the industry or, wholesale accounts or anything like that. So I'm just walking around happy because we have cigars. And I was a horrible salesperson at that time. Now it's a little bit different. I understand a lot more. So I'd have to check on our dealer. I don't want to close the screen out. I know we have. I know we got a couple. I just can't remember exactly where they are. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick. I just don't want to just be mute for a couple minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. Let us know, because like John. This is, and I don't mess around with cigars. I'm really truthful with cigars. Very straightforward. This is amazing. So I'm really,
I love hearing
very
that.
happily to carry this. Yeah, this is great, dude. Like, yeah, this is really good. So I would love to have some. I'll make real, some space on the shelves and just.
Yep.
This is great.
Yeah. So we're more towards St. Louis in the shops that carry us.
Okay, so South.
Yep,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I got nothing up by Chicago or North.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
I'm ready.
So, yeah, let's do this. We get shipments every month from the factory. So right now we have everything, all of our blends, all of our sizes, everything's in stock. If for some reason we're out of stock on something, it should be less than, 4 to 6 weeks max. And that's either the next shipment or, if I'm in between shipments, the one after that. But that's another interesting part that nobody ever talks about in this industry is, we're in the United States and we're working with manufacturing in a third world country with the language barrier, with imports, with governments that don't per se like each other.
Yeah.
It's like when we picked cigars, we were just like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. And then we just like overlooked all of the things. It's like being in an abusive relationship. Like, oh, it's fine. They got me flowers. They said they wouldn't do it again.
TX, obviously down in your neck of the woods, wants to know if you have any retail stores in shirts.
So we're based out of shirts, and so we do have a big warehouse that's down there. We do all of our own fulfillment, so all of our cigars are stored there. We have some office space. We don't have a lounge that's open to the public, but we do, because of the way Texas works with their permitting, we do have a retail permit, and we do have a small sales area at our headquarters. It's nothing fancy, but you're more than welcome to come by. And we'll give you a quick little tour of the place. We do a couple podcasts there as well. And so we have 2 little studios set up. And so we can give you a tour of the building, show you the big humidor, and then get you whatever you need. And if you're coming in from out of town, typically we'll take a minute and sit down, smoke a cigar with you, hang out, all that kind of fun stuff.
It's funny you say that because I was listening to a podcast you were on, and you were talking about the guy who came down from PA.
He didn't tell me.
There for 6 minutes, he goes to jump in the car.
Okay, see you later. Where you heading to? Oh, I'm driving back to wherever it was. It was like 14 hours away. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Like, get back in here. Here's a cigar. We're gonna sit down.
Flashua wants to know, does Warfighter associate or collaborate at all with HDA cigars?
Well, so I wouldn't say we associate or collaborate because we haven't done a collab with them. And association is a very, I don't know, interesting word to use for it. I will say I am friends with those boys and girls, and they're great dudes. They have some pretty good smokes that are out. They're new. They're getting their feet underneath them. They were kind of, I don't know, a couple rows over from us at PCA in New Orleans this past year. And they had like a prime booth location, at least I think it is. They were right next to the restrooms. So every single person had to walk by them when they went to the restroom. It was great. So every time I went to the restroom, I was like, I'll be right back. So by the end of the, 4 days that we're out there, I was like, I got to go to the bathroom. And I go over to the HDA booth and hang out, smoke some cigars with those guys, bullshit, So great dudes. We haven't done any collabs or anything like that yet. Not saying that we do have anything planned in the future, but I'm always open to have conversations. I'm not against stuff like that, especially with another veteran-owned brand. At the end of the day, with the veteran-owned stuff, and I've said this before a bunch, we can mess up everything else in business. But if we put out a shitty product, our own people are just going to tear us apart. The veteran community, for lack of better words, is extremely toxic. And so if a veteran-owned company puts out a bad product, they're just going to destroy them on online, social media, wherever the platform that it is. And so from day one with us, it was, we don't care. We have to have the best quality product that we can do as a minimum. Everything else is just, you know, a cherry on top after that. But as a minimum, if we put out a shitty product, our own people, they're going to tear us apart. So, and that was it. From day one, it's been focused on quality of tobacco, quality control with the rolling side of it to make sure we're not getting any cigars that are good tobacco, but shitty construction. And now you have burn issues, and that destroys the whole experience of a cigar. And that's been our focus since day one. And still to this day, to the point where every single one of our boxes or bundles, they all have alphanumeric codes on the bottom that says who the rollers were, who the packagers were doing bands and boxes, what day it was rolled, when it was packaged and shipped, on everything. And so that way, if there's an issue, we can pull up the data for whatever that was, figure out when it was made, who made it, or whatever, and then we can really figure out what the issue is instead of just the you know, blanket statement of, oh, well, you know, there's a human element that's involved in making cigars, and it could have been made on a Monday or a Friday, or, you know, like hey, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We're going to look into it and we'll fix it. You know,
talk about the variants that we're talking about. What's the most memorable story that a variant customer told you about your cigars?
That a customer has told us?
Yeah, a variant customer that has served, you know, Smokey about.
Yep. I mean, we get a lot of stories about, you know, guys smoking one of our Victory cigars, because, you know, we called it that because every victory, whether it's big or small, needs a celebration, right? When you stop celebrating your victories and you stop realizing what you're achieving, and then you just get into this, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? You essentially turn into a drone, right? You're just going through the motions, but nothing's making any, you know, triggering any emotions. And so we get a lot of guys that'll reach out to us that are like, hey, I just bought my first house. Hey, I just got divorced, you know, like all kinds of stuff. And they're celebrating their victories. Not so much as of recent, but back in the day, we used to do this sticker contest. And so we sent out a sticker with each order, and we told guys, hey, go stick this somewhere, snap a picture, tag us in it. And then every month we sent, you know, whichever one. And there was no real parameters. It was just like, okay, who's got the coolest picture? You know, what's the unique place or a cool bet or something, right? And so we go through and we pick it every month, and we send them a little care package. And we had some stickers that were placed in some awesome places on the top of movie sets and stadiums. Allegedly, there's one inside the shitter in the space station, because the dude who worked on that was a cigar smoker and liked, and so he gathered up a bunch of stickers and slapped them on the inside and sent it up. Who knows if it's true or not? We'll never find out. But you know, like things like that, like those are really awesome. You know, hearing about guys that, you know, hey, this is the first cigar I got to smoke with my kid. Or my son just got back from a deployment and we sat down and smoked these cigars. You know, those stories, the ones that actually have like, you know, some kind of emotional meaning behind it are the ones that we really appreciate. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the majority of them are going to be the more victory styles, you know, celebration cigars that these guys are smoking.
And I think that's the great thing about this lifestyle is you can share a cigar with your son.
It's
the
common denominator.
Yeah. And just to kick back and just enjoy. I mean, my son got married a year ago, and so it was nice to be able to bring a bunch of cigars there and just enjoy them and just relax, you know. So it's such a nice thing. But in case anybody's wondering here, Jon does have a connection to Chicago in a roundabout way. Big fan of Black Rifle Coffee, but you sort of switched recently.
So I wouldn't say I switched, right? Because the boys at Black Rifle, still amazing dudes. Right, love those guys to death. And I'm an equal opportunity coffee drinker. If it's good, I'm going to drink it. If it's bad, I'm going to talk shit about it, and I'm not going to drink it. So there is some stuff from Black Rifle that I don't like and I don't drink. There is some stuff that from day one, like their AK-47 blend. I don't even know what they call it now, but I think it's just their AK blend. It's an espresso roast, still probably one of my top 15 favorite cigars, the coffees that's out there. But the new coffee company that, so we picked him up. He's a sponsor of one of our other podcasts, and it's called Gun Barrel Coffee, and it's veteran-owned coffee company. He does all of his own roasting and own blends. Sal Dazos is the owner's name. Great dude, prior military guy. He does live up in the Chicago area. And so we jumped on a call. This is one of my favorite stories about Sal and Gun Barrel Coffee. We jump on a call with him and he's like, "Hey, I want to sponsor your podcast." And we're like, "Okay. We just want to be brutally honest with you and let you know that we only allow the only sponsors that we allow are products that we 100% believe in. If we don't like your product or we don't believe in what it is that you guys are doing, that you're out. Like, we're not going to do it." Right. Yep. And he's like, "Cool, I'm in." And we're like, "Okay, how about just send us a care package? We'll try everything and we'll let you know. And then we can go move forward from there and on the sponsorship side of stuff." And he's like, "Nope, no need to do that." He's like, "I'm in." And we're like, "Sal, listen, man, like, we don't want to commit to this and then your coffee sucks, because we're going to tell everybody your coffee sucks." Like, it's just, we did that podcast. We've been going on, I think, 7 years now. And our listeners know that if they can hear if we're not behind whatever it is we're talking about. And he's like, "Yep, cool, no problem." And we're like, wow, he's got some balls, like he's going to send us product and then, become a sponsor. And we've never tried this before. And so we had another follow-up call and we're like, "Hey, Sal, man, are you sure, dude? Like, you sure you just don't want to?" No. I believe in my product. Let's do this. I'm like, "Okay." So he sent a big care package down for us, all the different blends of coffee that he does. And so we sat down, we started recording, and I used these little electric mocha pots, the little Violetti looking things, and sat down right on our podcast table and just started brewing coffee. Made coffee for everybody. We're like, "Cheers." We all took a sip and we're like, "Oh shit, this is good." And then I worked through his entire lineup of coffee and everything that man offers. And I was like, "Man, I don't know where you learned how to do this." I was like, "But you got to figure it out, man." I was like, big fan. So he's been with us for almost a year now. And the coffee's only gotten better, more blends, more new stuff. So big fan of Gun Barrel Coffee. Big fan.
Yeah. It was when you said that and I heard it on a podcast, I'm like, I've sort of stuck with Black Rifle, but I'm thinking, okay, I've got to figure out a way to get up to Geneva and pick up some of his coffee and stuff like that. So I'm definitely, so we still maintain that. One of our big things when we started out this podcast, as crazy as it is, and I think you said your podcast at one point was mediocre at best. Well,
that's
if you're mediocre,
tagline.
Yeah, if you're mediocre at best, we're way below mediocre then. So, but we like to bring people in that have connections to Chicago and stuff like that. So
yeah, Chicago's a really fun town. Really fun. I can say, hands down, one of the best burgers I've had in my entire life. It was in Chicago at Ochabelle.
Oh, okay. I figured you were going to say Portillo's. I figured you were going to say
No.
Okay.
No, at Ochabelle. I don't think they cleaned their blacktop griddle in 100 years.
Probably not.
And I'm there for it.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Don't clean it. That's the number one secret.
Yeah, it's seasoned now. Like that's where you get all the
It's
flavor.
seasoned, yeah. All these years, man. Yeah.
So Marty, can you talk? Do we know?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
It sounds good. You're there.
Sounds good.
No echo.
Oh, wow.
No echo. It was the microphone.
It only took nearly an hour to figure it out.
Well, I'm going to go to some commercials, then we'll come back, and Marty's going to run the second half of the show.
Awesome.
I have no idea what questions you've already asked.
We'll be right back on these commercials.
Looking for the ultimate eyewear experience in Chicagoland? Discover Eyewear Fix, your premier eyewear store for over 28 years. From sunglasses to sports glasses to safety gear, we've got it all at every price point. Bring your prescription, and we'll handle the rest. Our appointment-only office offers a private, concierge-style experience tailored to your busy schedule. Call or text Chris at 630-853-4167 to book your visit and see why Eyewear Fix surpasses expectations. Eyewear Fix, where style meets precision. Get your fix today. Step into luxury at Ultimate Cigar Lounge, where passion meets perfection. Discover a world of premium cigars, hand-selected from the finest tobacco regions. From bold beginners to seasoned aficionados, our curated collection delights every palate. Grab a cigar from our amazing selection, pair it with freshly brewed coffee or fine spirits, and sit back and relax in an atmosphere of elegance and warmth. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, your haven for unforgettable moments. Visit us today and ignite your senses. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, located in Villa Park, Illinois.
This episode of Chi-Town Cigars is brought to you by Aganorsa Leaf Cigars, where great cigars begin exactly where they should, with the tobacco. Grown from authentic Cuban seed tobacco on Aganorsa's own farms in Nicaragua, these cigars are built on flavor, balance, and craftsmanship. No gimmicks, no shortcuts. From the first light to the final draw, you taste the difference when the leaf comes first. Aganorsa Leaf Cigars, where the leaf is our strength. Bring everybody. There we go. All right, Marty, it's all yours.
I bet you haven't asked this question yet. So I was looking at your bio on your webpage, and there's some. It's a really interesting bio, but it leaves a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Like there's one comment about going full Sharon Stone while wielding an M60 in a Black Rifle coffee commercial.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's lucky or not, but that video is no longer in existence anywhere.
I looked for it. I spent the better part of a day looking to see if I could find it, and I couldn't find it.
So it got pulled every time that video got put up. It lasted, I think the most it lasted was maybe like 72 hours. And then it gets taken for guideline violation or whatever the reasoning was. But the long and the short of it is when Black Rifle, it was about a year after they started, maybe a little bit longer. And we ended up doing a joint venture bag of coffee with them. And it was kind of one of their first times that they did that. And we called it Fuck Hipster Coffee. Pardon my French. But we wanted something that was, unapologetic, bold, like the just us, And so, we were talking with the boys over there for a while, and finally, through all the conversations we had, we're like, you know what, this is going to be a good idea. And then one of the owners, now at the time, he was in the process of getting a job with Black Rifle. So the American dream is still possible. And his name's Logan Stark. Logan was at the time a poor filmmaker. And one of his first projects with Black Rifle was to come out to Nebraska from Utah and film a commercial with us to launch our joint venture with that, that coffee. And so obviously at the time we had the gun store, we're doing cigars. We had a private range. We had access to all kinds of fun firearms. So a good friend of the shop, he owns a transferable M60, and we're like, hey man, we really need to borrow that to film a video of Black Rifle. And he's like, at the time, I think that was about a $65,000 machine gun. And so it's not like we were just like, hey man, let me borrow your Glock. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let me give you this $65,000 piece of equipment that we could destroy, The only reason he did is because we were all machine gunners when we were in the military. So I was like, look, man, I'm well versed at shooting this gun. I spent a lot of time behind this. And then we got the 240s and they were way better, but the 60s, it still holds a special place in my heart. And so he's like, buy a barrel for it. You can use the gun, whatever. And so barrel for those things was like $400. And we're like, yeah, done. No problem. So we had a cannon that shoots a 1 pound lead ball. We were firing blanks though, just to be safe. We had the M60 belt fed. And then you guys ever heard of a Glock 18? It's a full auto Glock made from the factory, full auto, not with the Glock, stupid Glock switch on the back or anything like that. And so when Glock decided to make these guns, and they were only sold to law enforcement, they weren't sold to military, and they were never available for civilian market. We brokered a deal with the Nebraska State Patrol because they happen to have, I think, 11 of them in their arms room, and they never used them. And so we traded them duty rifles for their Glocks, and then, sold the Glocks to other gun stores. Well, I believe outside of a department, a law enforcement department, we had at one point, I think 13 Glock 18s in one place, which is normally impossible to happen. So we opened the video with, it was a 55-gallon drum. We painted it blue, and we put a vinyl sticker on it that said "fuck hipster coffee," or no, excuse me, it just said "hipster coffee." And so we lined up in a semicircle with 13 guys. Everybody had a Glock 18 and at least a 30-round stick mag. Some of them had 50 or 100 round drums. And on the command, everybody drew on that barrel and unloaded. So we dumped about 400 rounds in about 2.5 seconds. And it looked like that barrel exploded just from all the water coming out, all the bullet holes that were in it. And then those guys moved out of the way. I walked up with that M60 belt fed. So I got it one hand, I'm holding the belt in the other hand. And the reason they said the Sharon Stone part is because I'm in cowboy boots and a kilt. And I'm wearing a kilt traditionally like you're supposed to. And I was a tactic kilt. So it had the mag pouches on the sides and everything. But as a joke, they were like, hey, we're just going to set this GoPro down. Just step over it as you're walking up to the firing line. And I was like, oh, I don't know if you guys want me to do that. They're like, no, it's fine. We'll edit it out. Okay. And so after talking with Logan, he's like, I'm never doing that again. He's like, how many times I had to, in editing, I had to replay all this. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I put a BRCC sticker over it, so I didn't have to look at it anymore. But yeah, so I unloaded a 100-round belt on the drum, and then we fired a cannon at it, and that was our video. We made national news. We made Utah news. They pulled clips out of that, all for nonstop. But every time they threw it up on social media, one, we'd sell out a coffee, and then two, social media would pull it down within a matter of a day or two.
Yeah.
And so we reached out to Logan, I think either end of last year, beginning of this year. We're like, hey, man, like, I know in 12 years of you guys doing Black Rifle, the amount of content, I can't imagine how many hard drives you guys have. I was like, if you get some time, so I know you're a busy man and you got a family now, newborn and a kid. I was like, it'd be dope if you could shoot us that video. Like, we're not going to publish it anywhere, but I would just like to see it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it get pulled down because of the step over shot or because of the...
No, because we put the sticker and it was edited out, you couldn't see anything, so that wasn't a violation. I just think it was the sheer amount of guns, and just everything about it, pretty much. We had guns and cigars, and we're swearing, and it's all full auto stuff. We're firing a cannon off. We got flames in the background, like
Yep. Yes, Fireborn. So talk about unloading balls out. Yes, absolutely.
Pretty much.
So as long as we're talking weapons here.
Yeah.
You're a machine gunner.
Yep.
Scott is a sniper.
Yep.
I think you beat Scott quite a few times in some competitions, didn't you?
So we shot competition long range. We shot a bunch of PRS matches and some of the NRL stuff before, when it was in its early stages, because that's how long ago, dating myself now.
Mm-hmm.
So I never fired a bolt action rifle until after I got out of the military. And Scott was the one who was showing me how to engage targets at distance, and now as a machine gunner, right, we're engaging targets out to, 1,500, 2,000 meters sometimes, for area targets, point targets out to 1,200 meters. And I got to the point with a 240 Bravo belt-fed machine gun that I could be laying on a firing line. I could fire one round off and hit a target at 1,200 meters.
Wow.
One round. And I'm like, well, I mean, they're, the E-type silhouette, but there's, two of them. And I was like, yeah, I can hit that with a machine gun. It's easy, He's like, cool, hit a 10-inch plate at 1,000. With one round. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I know how to shoot that weapon platform at that distance, and that's it. But I understood how the round flew through the air and how wind affected it and Kentucky windage and all that. Now, shooting long range competition, way more goes into it than just being like, this looks about right, you know. But yeah, so we started shooting, and I had a really good base. We're shooting the best of the best firearms. All of our ammo is insanely consistent. You know, my gun and Scott's gun were almost identical matching wise. We had the same chassis, same trigger. The barrels were from the same batch. We used the same reamer, but we did all of our ammo on the same presses. So in theory, the gun should perform identically. So if he's on the line and he shoots and he misses and he's like, hey, I was holding 0.4 for wind, hold 0.6. I get up there, I clean that stage because he gave me, you know, a little bit of information. And it's not unheard of. Shooters share knowledge. Hey, what's your wind call? Oh, I held a 0.5 mil, or I held right edge, or, you know, whatever it was. And the next guy goes up, makes his call, but uses that information as well because that guy just got off the line. They might be shooting different calibers, different barrel lengths, different speeds. All these factors come into play. Our guns were identical, so it helped out. So in the course of that entire season, there were matches where I would shoot better. There were matches where Scott would shoot better. And what it boiled down to was the last match of the season, and we were shooting at the heat stroke in Camargo, Oklahoma.
Wow.
And it was hot.
Yeah.
Hence the heat stroke. And was it there? No, because that was early in the season. So we were out in Utah shooting. And so we get, throughout the day, we added up everything throughout the rest of the year, for the season, all the wins and losses and all this. And we're like, oh, shit, we can't base it off of that because we're just, you know. So we literally went down to, we were like, okay, look, we're even up until this course of fire. And on this one, we're going to take the winner of today's match between you and I, and that's going to be the winner of the season. And both of us were like, yeah, no, that makes sense. That maths. And so we went back and forth throughout the day, and then we're starting to get in towards, you know, later in the afternoon. I start taking a little bit of a lead, and then we get to the last stage, and, you know, obviously we're talking a whole bunch of shit the whole time. We get to that last stage, and I completely fall apart, and Scott almost cleans that stage, and I think he ended up beating me by like 1 or 2 hits for the whole season. But yeah, no, Scott, he's an amazing shot. It was really nice when we were in the service because he went from being, you know, a rifleman in our unit and a team leader in our platoon. Then they held a sniper tryout while we were overseas because they needed guys. And we all knew how well Scott could shoot. And we're like, our platoon sergeant's like, hey, you're doing this. Scott's like, well, I was going to volunteer anyways. And they're like, no, yeah, but you're doing it. So he goes, gets selected. And so we go from 1 week where he's kicking in doors with us to the next week he's the Overwatch while we're kicking in the doors. And it's knowing how well he can shoot. And it's just like, yeah, we're good. Nobody can touch us. We're all set. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it kind of gave us this false sense of security. But at the end of the day, we also knew that, you know, the Overwatch that we had, you know, watching our backs was they were actually watching it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Fireborn says he's got a buddy at work with a picture that says sniper. It's like golf, but for men.
That's a true story. It really is. You know, and then the actual job of a sniper, it's way more involved than just, oh, he's a good shot. You know, you got to figure out hides, you got to figure out blinds, you got to figure out stalking, you know, PI, positive identification of a target, making sure you're in the right place at the right time, making sure you're not getting detected. Like there's so much more that's just like, oh no, I can hit that at 500 yards. Like, cool.
Yeah. So
what do you think the best movie that accurately depicts that is?
So when it comes to military movies, especially with like sniper style stuff, American Sniper's decent, but there's so much of that story that's involved in it that it takes away from the actual role of that job. And because of the unit that the movie portrays, it's not accurate, but it's not your traditional sniper job position that's being, you know, documented by that. Like there's a lot of things that are identical to what a sniper does. But at the end of the day, it's a movie and it's telling an amazing story. So there's that. What's that other one? Act of Valor
What?
it's outside of like some of the Hollywood explosions that they do. Other than that, that's pretty good. There's one more that they just kicked out a couple of years ago, and it's about Navy. All these ones are about Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
But oh shit, what is it called? That one is very, very accurate. I'm trying to look it up right now. In regards to like tactics, and then being prior military, when you watch a movie and the tactics or the uniforms or the guns or how they're doing something isn't accurate, you're just like, yeah, that's okay. That just took away this story could have been amazing, and all you needed was one halfway decent military advisor to be like, don't do it like that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when my son was on the sub, I watched a couple sub movies, and so as I would correspond with him, he's like, "Dad, I told you, do not watch sub movies while I'm out here. It's gonna put the fear of God in you." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I just can't watch this stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, while I'm out here, don't watch those movies."
So that Navy SEAL movie is called Warfare.
Oh.
It came out in 2025. I think it's on Netflix, maybe. But that one it's pretty accurate when it comes down to like, how these guys are doing the right jobs, for lack of better words. But yeah, there isn't really one that, at least in my opinion, that plays it like to a T. There's some older, 80s, 90s, mid 2000s that are awesome movies. They're just not accurate. You know what I mean? Like, but they're really good.
So I got a question, unless you guys got something, and we're not gonna give your age at the time that you first started smoking cigars, because
I'll give it. It's fine.
You can give it. I just want, but you started smoking cigars young, very young.
I did. I was about 14, maybe even a little younger than that. And it was one of my childhood friends' older brothers, and he drove a Buick Grand National. And I thought he was the coolest dude in the world because he drove a Buick Grand National.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we're sitting there hanging out, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to go down to the local shop and grab some cigars. You guys want some?" Like, what? Yeah, I want cigars. Like, this dude's cool as shit, and he smokes cigars. Yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. Scrounged up some change, maybe $1, and as a bill. Yeah. And he went and got cigars, and I think it was a Macanudo. I don't know for sure. And I know I got a bunch of boxes that are in my garage, and I'm going to have to go through them one day because I'm pretty sure I have a wallet in there from way back in the day. And when they used to actually have like the picture things. And in one of those, I think I put a bunch of cigar bands in it from when I was not supposed to be smoking cigars because I was, in middle school and high school. But I believe it was that because I remember it had some green and black and white on the band.
Wow.
But yeah, and that was it wasn't like I didn't get hooked on the cigar or the process of smoking, or my palate. I got nothing. I don't know if it was good or bad or anything like that. The environment that I was in, the conversations that we had, it was the excuse to be able to sit down for 45 minutes or however long I was there and hang out with, at the time, what I thought was the coolest guy in the world. And we're having a conversation, and he's not picking on us or beating us up or anything. This is my buddy's older brother. Like, that's usually what happened.
Yep.
And so it was awesome. It was cool. And I was just like, man, this is, and I'm young, so I don't really know, like, oh, I'm going to do this the rest of my life. It never was there like, what, maybe someday I'll have a cigar company, like, nope. That was never a pipe dream. Yeah. But yeah, that was my first one. And then, after that, like, it's funny. I don't even remember. This has probably been 5 or 6 years now. We went to, it's one of the years that we actually had a booth at TPE, which there's probably 4 years where the cigar industry was at a really big presence at that trade show. Now, not so much. It's all vape and CBD and that kind of stuff. But so we're getting ready for the trade show, and I know that Drew Estate is going to be there, and Jonathan Drew is already scheduled for appearances and all this stuff. And so I was going through a box in my garage because, you know, everybody has those. And I found this old humidor from, it had to have been before I joined the military. And the reason I say that is because my dad bought me these cigars, and I remember when he bought them, and I wasn't enlisted in the Army at that point. So, and I know he didn't get them for me after. So I must have been 16, 17 maybe. But it was a tin of the Drew Estate acid cigars.
Yeah.
The bands, they looked like he printed them off a printer in a spare bedroom. You know, it still has the motorcycle inside the lid. Yeah. Like, I mean, old school, right?
Yeah.
So, and I open it out of my humidor, and I still had 5 cigars left in that tin.
Wow.
And I'm like, holy shit, right? I'm like, obviously they're dry. You know, I haven't smoked any of them, but I was like, they probably don't even taste infused anymore after 20 plus years, you know? Yeah. And so I brought them with me when I went to TPE. And Jonathan Drew's getting ready. This year they had I don't even know what the cigar it was. I think it was in one of the Undercrown, their big Lancero type cigars they did that came in its own box, and he was signing the boxes and handing them out to the big accounts and whatnot. And so as we're getting set up for this, you know, I see him in the booth, and we were a couple of aisles over. So I go back to our booth, I grab that tin of cigars, and I walk over, and I get Jonathan's attention. I'm like, hey man, listen, I know you're a busy man, and we're at a trade show, and you're about to do a signing and all this kind of stuff. I'm not trying to take your time from you. I was like, I just want to shake your hand and say thank you for everything you've done for this industry over the 20 plus years that you've been involved. I was like, as much of a disruptor as you have been, the progress that you've made this industry make in that time is amazing. I don't think anybody else could have done what you've done. I was like, and then the second part, and I pull it out of my pocket, it's like, when's the last time you've seen one of these? And I handed him the tin, and he's like, holy shit. And I don't know what her role in the company is, but he called over this lady, and he's like, hey, you need to look at this. And he hands it to her, and she's like, when did we make these? And he's like, late 90s. You know, I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, he's like, yeah. He's like, I remember when we did bands. This is before we even had really good bands and blah, blah, all this stuff, right? I was like, he's like, this is super cool. I was like, yeah. I was like, the only other thing I got a question for you is like, can you sign it for me? And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I just think it'd be really cool, you know? Yeah. So sitting in our humidor at our shop is that tin signed by Jonathan Drew. And then he ended up giving me one of the boxes of the other cigars and stuff. But yeah, and it just goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are in the industry. As long as you're not a piece of shit, like, yeah. You know, never in a million years, I think Jonathan Drew would sign a tin of cigars that I had. It just so happened I ran into him at the right place at the right time. And yeah, he's a nice guy.
It's funny because Warfighter shares a similar, well, I should say, when I met Jonathan Drew, it was probably 18 years ago in Chicago. And him and I had a conversation, and his comment was, because he asked what I did, and I told him what I did, and he said, this is what we make Drew acid cigars for. We make them for blue collar. We make them for guys like you that can enjoy them, that don't have a lot of time, but you know, and so it's and that's, you know, that's sort of the same philosophy you guys have. I mean, for first responders, you know, and it's neat that the cigar industry in general is awesome, but that brands do think about those people and say, okay, hey, we're making stuff for you guys, you know, to enjoy out there.
You know, at the end of the day, right, like on our trade show booth, right, we have a 20-foot backdrop, and on the public facing side, the side that we're standing on, our booth is all set up on, we got a bunch of artwork and pictures and, you know, military service members from, you know, all the way like the Civil War all the way up until present, smoking cigars, some really epic, famous, you know, military style pictures, some not so famous ones. There's one that I took with a disposable camera on a rooftop in Iraq of my buddy smoking a fake Cuban, but hey, it might have been real, who knows? But you know, behind a machine gun and 130 degrees, we're dripping sweat, you know. But it was that, you know, 45 minutes of normalcy. It's funny when you smoke a cigars overseas, right? All you do is think about back home. When you're back home, sometimes when you smoke a cigar, all you think about is overseas. But yeah, and then on the back side of our booth, on that 20-foot backdrop, on the back of it, on that whole entire 20 feet, is we have a silhouette of a military service member, law enforcement, a silhouette of a firefighter. And then on one side, in big words, we have not all cigar smokers wear suits.
Yeah.
And yeah, because they
awesome.
don't.
No. Share, I hate to put you on the spot, but I watched this video.
Okay.
You've got to share the ruck case that you found or had in your yard for 5 years. I mean, because that's unbelievable. I mean, if I tell him, first of all, go check out Warfighter's podcast. You guys are going to love it. It's very relaxed and very casual. But some of the stories, but that video, I watched that thing and I'm like, it's unbelievable. I mean, well, go ahead and share it. You can.
Yeah. So we started doing this thing that we like to call it cigar science. Now, mind you, we are not scientists. None of us went to school for any of this. So it is like layman scientists, right? We're using like cigar medic humidimeters. We're using all the common things that people would use for storage solutions for cigars. We're recreating or creating scenarios where it would happen to that normal everyday smoker. Like, what happens if you leave a cigar in your truck for 6 months?
Right.
Can you smoke it? What happens if, can you bring it back to life? You know, and all of these things, these were ideas of things like, I was getting ready to do a sales trip one day. And so I'm cleaning out stuff in my truck so I can load it up with stuff I could bring out on the trip. And I happened to find a couple cigars sitting on my center console. And I was like, oh man, I kind of remember when I put these in here. It was like 6 months ago. Like, and, you know, Justin, our we call him, his official title is Director of Propaganda. He does all of our media, all of our film, video, pictures, like all of our, you know, web ready stuff, a lot of the content, all the podcasts. And he's just phenomenal at what he does. And he's like, hey, we should do a video about this. He's like, I'm like, okay, like, what do you want to do? He's like, well, let's see if you can smoke it. And I'm like, hell yeah. So I grabbed the metered everything so we can get a little bit of data about the cigar before we just jump into it. And, you know, oh, I don't know what it is, but it's smoking okay, you know. And so pulled that out, smoked it. We did one where I loaded cigars in my truck on purpose and let them sit, and knowing that the next, you know, 4 to 6 months, our temperatures are going to go from 100 degrees in the heat to below freezing in the wintertime, and just let it run. And then we pulled them out. We figured out how much humidity was inside the cigar, and then we stuck them in the humidor and pulled them out once a week, tested everything to see how long it would take to get back to that, you know, smokable range, and then smoke them randomly and then smoke them all at the end. And it surprised me. There's a lot of data in there that I didn't think was going to go that way. Different cigar blends hold different humidity. They reacclimate at different speeds. Now, obviously, doing hindsight, looking back, and I'm like, oh, this all makes so much sense. But going into it, I was like, oh no, this is how it's going to be, and I was so wrong. And I was like, oh wow, okay, cool. I'm glad we did this, you know. But that ruck case video, right?
Yeah.
So we have ruck case. We call them Warfighter ruck case humidors. And at the time, they made 3 different sizes. They made an R20, which held 8 cigars, an R40. Actually, I got 2 of them right here. I just don't have the big one, the R60. So this one's a R40. This one's a R20.
Okay.
This one holds 8. Pelican does not make these anymore. You cannot buy these anywhere.
Wow.
This one, they don't make in orange or tan anymore. They only make in black or green. This one holds about 10, and then they have one bigger, an R60 that holds about 18 in Toro, but depending on the size, you can fit some more. So this guy, not this specific one, but I had a tan one. It's actually in one of our studios at our warehouse. Still covered in dirt and dust. Didn't clean it, didn't do nothing. Just we got done with the video and I just set it up so people want to look at it, they can. So I had one of these in my backyard, and it was after a little get-together barbecue, something that we did years and years ago. And for the longest time, I thought it was just empty. And so I was like, cool, I'm just going to leave this out here and I'll call it a torture test. And really, I'm just too lazy to bring it inside right now, and we'll just see what happens. So like the little emblems that we have, on the tan one, it was tan and brown. And so that was faded. The whole top was faded. And it's not like it just sat in one spot. Like I'd move it around. I'd reorganize or clean the backyard, and I'd take it where it's in the shade, and I go set it on like a table in the sun and move it, So the long and the short of it is it sat in my backyard for 5 years.
Wow.
And one day I went out there and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this guy. But I was like, I wonder if the Bovida pack is still decent. That was my only thing. So I crack it open, right? And the way that these work is it flips up, folds back, and then you can open the whole top. Bovida pack sits right in here. So as I flipped this open, right, and as soon as I clicked it, and then as I went to open this way, it was like, it's all rusty and dirty, I open it up and there's one cigar sitting in it. And I was like, no way. I immediately shut it, put it in my truck, and we're like, we're filming this. So we sat down, we did the same thing. We hit it with the Cigar Medic humidimeter. We inspected the cigar. I mean, the wrapper, it was so tinted brown. It wasn't even like yellow or tan. Like it was like brown. And this was a Connecticut cigar. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And it had to have been heat and just everything over the past 5 years of just being out there. So we metered it and metered perfect. And I was like, okay, hey, shout out to Bovida, by the way.
Yeah.
I had 160 gram, 69% pack in that thing for 5 years in my backyard. And that cigar, humidity wise, that cigar was perfect, right? Temperature wise, who knows what it went through the snowpocalypse we had a couple of years ago where we only got like 5 inches of snow, but the whole state shut down for like a week. We've had multiple years below freezing. A couple summers ago, I think we had like 50 plus days over 100 degrees. This cigar's been through the ringer, and we sat down and set up a couple cameras and everything and lit this thing up and smoked it, and smoked great.
Yeah.
There was a little crack in the wrapper, and I believe it was probably user error. That smoked right through it. I was expecting that once I hit that, it was just gonna, open up, and that was the end of it. Nope. Just burned right through it, nice and clean, no issues. And I'm like, oh man. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the show. If we don't believe in it, we're not going to have it. Right. There's been over the years so many different torture tests we've done with these cases. I drive a Super Duty pickup truck. I ran one of these over with my truck. Pelican said they're crush proof, and I'm like, okay, we'll see. So 8,000 pound truck can't crush it. I was like,
that's incredible, dude. That's awesome. Incredible.
Left in my backyard for 5 years, no problem. I've taken it floating down rivers, just tie a rope to it, throw it over the side, because they have a rubber gasket on the inside. You'll be able to see it in the orange one a lot better. That black line, that's a rubber gasket, and it seals. There's a little lip right here. Works perfectly great for floating rivers or swimming pools or anything like that. But yeah, big fan. But yeah, that video, that was super cool to just do. Like I couldn't only imagine watching it on the other end and not knowing what's going to happen.
Well, and then when you took the Bovida pack out, and you're like, there's a little
still
bit
good.
It's still good. So for 5 years, that Bovida pack lasted with no problem. So I mean, it's like when I saw that, I'm like, all right, and you're like, there's a little bit of rustiness in it, but not much. And I'm thinking, holy cow.
And if I remember right, in a couple, like one of the corners, I think it was starting to like crystallize a little on the inside. I don't know if you guys, you probably experienced a Bovida pack that, went bad. But when they just start, right, you can feel it start to crystallize a little in one little area. And I was like, ooh, I'm like, okay, we might have like another year left. Let me go throw it in the backyard.
It is awesome. Yeah, I never had like 5 years like that. Even my mason jars or the regular jars that I have with back in the day, some of them lasted 2.5 years inside those jars. They're incredible. So I can't imagine in that. That's great.
It's funny. We put that video out, and Bovida sent me an email, and they're like, hey, can we collab on that video? Can we? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, guys. And I'm like, this shows the quality of your product just as much as it does ours. I'm like, so yes, please share it all day.
Yeah.
And then we did the cigar science when we did a couple different ones. We put the cigars in the truck, and then we tried to bring them back, how long that would take. Obviously using well, that wasn't a Bovida pack one, but another one we did is we took a Ziploc bag, we took the Pelican rut cases, we took a Tupperware We used a soft case, like a soft-sided travel humidor that's not designed for permanent storage. And we did the same thing. We metered everything, threw cigars in them, put Boveda in them, and we just let them sit in one of the offices. And then about once a week, we'd pull them all out. We'd meter everything, write down all the data. That one, we didn't do a video on it. We released all the data on a podcast episode because it took us about 50 minutes to go through all the data we collected on that. And if we were to make that into a video, we would have lost people 30 seconds in.
Yeah. That's
so beyond tobacco, obviously, I read a lot. You spend time volunteer for scuba instructor, huh? I read a lot.
Yeah,
that's awesome. How did you get personally into the scuba diving? Because that's awesome.
I got into diving before I actually graduated high school. Even I got certified open water diver in, I think it was 1996.
That's awesome.
And when I was in high school, before I joined the military, I wanted to be a marine biologist until I learned how much money they make, and if they don't get a grant, they don't get paid, and all the cool stuff. You have to get a master's and a doctorate and all, and I was like, I'm not spending 10, 12 years in school to make pennies and hopefully get a chance to do something I love. But in the process of figuring out if I wanted to do that or not, I went and got scuba certified because I was like, well, that box is checked because I'm going to need to be, diving in order to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always been something that intrigued me, being in the water. Grew up, swimming in the ocean and water skiing and kneeboarding and all that fun stuff. So being under the water is kind of comfortable for me. And then I joined the military. I didn't dive for, I don't even know, 15 years, maybe even a little bit longer. I was living in Arizona, living in Nebraska, living in Europe. Not saying that I couldn't, but I didn't have equipment and it just wasn't on the forefront of my mind. And then so I get down here to Texas and I get a bug. Hey, you know what? I want to get back in the water. So I did a refresher course up here at a dive shop called Dive Shop San Marcos in Texas. I did a couple dives here in some of the lakes in Texas and realized, nope, I need to be in either Florida water or the Caribbean, somewhere where we have good visibility. It's warm. Like, I want to enjoy this. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I dove. Well, how was it? I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. I want to be like, yeah, it was awesome. I had 100 feet of visibility and I saw all these, crazy life and all this stuff. So I get done diving in Texas. It only took me about 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, yeah, no, this isn't for me. And so I knew about Warfighter Scuba for probably a couple of years. But their program, their nonprofit, their mission statement is we get Purple Heart recipients in the water, right? We get them scuba certified. Doesn't matter what the disability is, if they have one. But the only requirement is you have to be a Purple Heart recipient or have your nation's equivalent, right? Because not all nations call it a Purple Heart. So we're multinational. It doesn't matter what military you served in, what country. If you were wounded while you served overseas and by an armed enemy, you qualify for the program. So I sent him an email, and I immediately started off with, "Hey, I am not a Purple Heart recipient. No, I'm good at dodgeball, not bad at it." And I was like, "But I want to dive with you guys, and I want to figure out a way where I can help support your mission. I kind of understand it, but I don't know it exactly. But I'd really like to, experience something with you guys, and that way I can get behind, that mission even more." And so, actually, I take it back. The opening line of that email was, "Warfighter Scuba, this is Warfighter Tobacco, over."
Nice.
That's awesome.
It's funny. So about 10 minutes later, my phone rings, and it's a Honduran phone number because they're out of Roatan, Honduras. And so I pick it up and I'm like, "Hello," and he's like, "Hey, this is Nick Powers of the Warfighter Scuba." I was like, "Oh shit. Like, I just sent you an email." He's like, "I know, I just read it." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, I've been wanting to reach out and talk with you. And he's like, "But I didn't know how that conversation was going to go." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, Warfighter Tobacco, Warfighter Scuba." He's like, "I figured." I was like, "No, man." I was like, "No." I was like, it's I mean, it's not a common name. I was like, but your mission and our mission are kind of similar. You're just more specific than we are, you know? I was like, I would love to be able to come down there and dive with you guys. You know, it'd be even better if it was when you guys had a vet trip going on, so I could meet some of the guys going through your program. And that way I can see what it is and what you're about, and how you run things and all this stuff. And then we can kind of go from there. And he's like, awesome. He's like, well, our next trip's in like 3 weeks. And I was like, well, shit, that's just so happens my birthday's in 3 weeks. So looks like I'm going to Roatan, Honduras for my birthday and diving with you guys. So booked my flights, got down there, met Nick, met, you know, their whole entire operation down there. Couple of their board members, and then the vets showed up, met those guys. Wow. And then we could go right into a week of diving and seeing firsthand what getting guys that have been wounded in combat in the water at depth under pressure diving in the world's second largest barrier reef. It's, you know, top 10 dive destination for a lot of people in the world, and seeing the almost not, I wouldn't say immediate improvement, but seeing the effects that scuba has on these guys, on their physically, on their body, mentally, on all the demons that they're fighting and everything. And I was just like, Nick, I'm hooked. Like, how do I get more involved? What can I do? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you know, we got this fundraiser and that. And I'm like, no, dude, like, I want to be boots on the ground helping you guys. And at the time I was only advanced open water. I didn't have any professional certs or anything like that. And he's like, next step's dive master. And after that, assistant instructor, and we can work our way up. And I was like, okay, cool. How do we start? He's like, well, how many dives do you have? He's like, you need this minimum for dive master. And I was like, okay, let me get those. So I started diving. And as soon as I got my numbers up, he's like, cool. So flew down to Roatan, did all the prerequisite certs and dives and everything I had to do prior. Went down there, you know, did my dive master. I was a dive master for Warfighter Scuba for almost 2 years, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing all my instructor certs, or all my assistant instructor stuff through Warfighter Scuba. Did my instructor certs through them, and now I'm on their pro stop as an instructor. And any day now, I'm also going to be a board member because I believe in their mission so much and what they do. So I've been involved with those guys now for almost 6 years, I think. Wow. And it's just amazing. I took a group of vets up to Alpena, Michigan last year and had them diving. Gosh. What's that?
I said, oh my gosh.
Yeah. We were diving up in Lake Huron in the coldest water I've ever dove in my life. And we didn't have dry suits. That was challenging. But if you go on Warfighter Scuba's YouTube page, there are 2 different videos that they put up so far. I had 3 vets up there, and they did a little, about a 18 to 20 minute video on each of the vets. 2 of them are published already. We released one of them at DEMA, which is the trade show for scuba diving. Got amazing feedback. And it's very, it has nothing to do with me in it. I think you might see me like in the background of a couple of videos, but I don't speak. I don't do anything. I smile and laugh in a couple of videos. But it's the story of these guys, of these veterans, Purple Heart recipients, a couple of the guys. I feel, and I give shit to the board for Warfighter Scuba, and I'm like, you guys cherry picked like the 3 hardest guys to go on this trip with me. One of them does not like water. One of them does not like being cold. And the other dude, like, he was great, right? The third guy, and all week I was just waiting. I'm like, okay, what's with you? I was like, you just the normal guy they threw in to make me happy, and the other 2 guys, one hates water, one hates being cold, and we're diving in Lake Huron above the 45th parallel. But the video follows those guys through the week we were up there, and it talks about the challenges that they went through, the bonds that were created while we were up there. We were only up there for 7 days. Wow. You know, we had three vets and me in the water. We had a film crew, 2 guys in the water filming. And we had Kevin, one of the board members. He was my DM, my dive master for the training that we were doing. Just, you know, because above everything else, safety is number 1, especially when you're diving, because shit goes bad. It can go bad quick and it can go bad really bad.
Yeah.
But we had no idea what these videos were going to be until the filmmaker actually released them. We weren't even we couldn't even be in the building when he was interviewing the veterans because he didn't want anything to affect how those interviews went. We didn't want the veteran to be distracted by a noise they hear or something, right? That we want to capture the raw emotions and feelings. And Kyle, the filmmaker, oh my God, he crushed it. These videos, like we released one at DEMA, right? We rented out one of the rooms in their big trade show convention hall. We had a big projector. We filled the room. We had, 75 people in there. And so we got up, we said a few words up front. We played that video. We played another video that we made for NOAA that they could use showcasing their facility and what their perspective of that trip was. And then at the end of it, we're like, hey, thank you guys for watching all these. Our goal is to, expand our mission and what we're doing. If you have a dive shop and you'd like to, start hosting some of these trips, or if you're an instructor and you'd like to start teaching some, just hang out afterwards. We'll trade information and we'll continue these conversations and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, cool. If you have nobody has any other questions, then yeah, that's it. And so everybody clapped and not a single person left that room. Wow. Every single person in that room came up to us, had a conversation, whether it was, hey, this is my shop. Hey, I'm an instructor. Hey, I don't do anything than that, but this was so moving. How can I support this mission? Every single person stuck and hung out and talked with us. And we were like, shit, like we couldn't ask for anything better. Like this was our goal when we set out to make this documentary. And then, we nailed it when we were here. Awesome. So that was super awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a huge helping, therapeutic help for sure, man. That's great.
Yep. And then one of the cool things with Warfighter Scuba is not only do they get the veteran out there too, they get the significant other, or kids if it's a family. And what it does is one, it's the tagline is decompress the stress, right? When you're at depth, you don't think anything else. Everything above the surface, none of it matters, right? But then the other part too is there's actual therapeutic benefits to it, and stem cell regeneration, and all these things, the joints, the skin, the relief of pressure because gravity doesn't affect you the same way. We have guys that are wheelchair bound that we get them in the water and they now have freedom again. Amputees, burn victims, right? All these diving is amazing. But when we get the family involved, when we get the wife or the girlfriend, or we get the kids and we get them certified, now there's an activity that they can do anywhere in the world, any body of water, almost, they can get in, right? It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's easy on the body physically for the veteran. And it's really hard to argue or get in a fight when you're underwater, right? You can't talk. It's not like I can yell at you and you're just like, I don't know. And you turn around, you swim away, and that's it. It's over. It's done. There's no, you're like, oh shit, they don't know what I'm saying.
No drama.
Wife, they can't fight underwater, right?
Nope.
You can fight on the surface all you want. Let's go dive. You guys are good. Look, you're hugging. You loved each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Marty, did you have anything?
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
So, also on your bio, it talks about your beard being trimmed in a freak motorcycle accident.
So, my beard used to be a lot longer, but down to here. It's hot in Texas, so in the summertime I trim it up pretty good. Yeah, I've gotten my beard caught in a lot of things. A lot. There are times where when we first started getting some test blends in years ago, I'd stick my knife in the cigar and try to smoke as much as I could. And I had like a little half circle my mustache that I just burn all the hair away. Or I'd drop an ash in it and it would like burn a little piece off. On my motorcycle, there's multiple times. For a while, it was the sides would get trimmed, or not trimmed, it would break off because of the strap. And so I had like back here, it was real bushy. And then I had these like little strips where it was real short. And then the center was really big. So over the years, I've gone through some pretty interesting beard styles. And it wasn't because like I'm trying to do it a certain way. Like when we shot a lot of competition, shooting firearms. The right side of my beard was shorter, just from my cheek weld.
Oh.
And if it was an adjustable stock, it would rip some of the hair out. So I'd get a really short spot in one area, or it would be all broken in like one straight line where my cheek weld was on the butt stock. And then this side was always fine. Yeah,
that's funny.
You did notice that Teddy did shave this week. He got rid of all the gray. He didn't want the gray in there anymore.
Yeah, last episode, John. Yeah, Mike was making fun of me with my beard. He's like, "You look 45." So I was like, so I saved it. So, yeah,
mine used to be like jet black, and now there's not much black left in it.
Well, John, tell everybody where they can find Warfighter Tobacco Company's podcast, and then also the second one. You have a second one.
Yeah, we do. So warfightertobacco.com. It has links to everything. It also has information about all of the different blends of cigars that we have out. We have wrapper binder filler listed. We have tasting notes. We have strength. All that stuff is on there. A little bit more in depth than some of the other platforms where our information is. On there, we also have a blog that we try to keep updated. Sometimes, just because of life, it doesn't get updated as often as we want. And then all of our social media platforms. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think we have a Rumble, but I don't know if we still post on it or not. And then we have a YouTube. And on YouTube, we have two different pages. We have Warfighter Tobacco Company, and then we have the Warfighter Tobacco Podcast. The Warfighter Tobacco Podcast on YouTube is only our podcast episodes. That's also available on Apple, Spotify. I think it's on every platform except for iHeartRadio, because the 4 people that still listen to that, it doesn't matter. But
so that's
and then on the Warfighter Tobacco YouTube, that's
science.
where we have all of our content, all this, what I call the cigar science.
Okay.
We have all the blend breakdowns where we go in depth and detail about each different blend of cigar that we have offer that's out there, different sizes. We do how to cut, how to light, just a little bit of everything's on there. And then the other podcast we do is we don't normally shout it out. We just talk about another podcast that we do. And the reason why is it is the definition of what we call barracks banter. There is no filter. We don't care who gets offended. We're not there to make people, sunshine and butterflies. That's not the reason. We're there because the raw conversations and the raw humor, and it's completely unscripted. Every Tuesday at 3:00, we go in the podcast room, we sit down, we say, "Okay, you boys ready?" "Yep, cool." We start recording and we go. There's no preconceived notions or topics or anything. That's what it is. And we've been doing it for 7 years.
Wow. That's awesome, dude.
So we got like 400 plus episodes of, and we're drinking and smoking cigars the whole time. So there's some episodes where I really hope people don't watch it, because the 4 of us went through like 6 bottles of whiskey that night.
Oh my God.
And then there's other episodes where we go down rabbit holes and some serious knowledge is shared, or crazy stories or whatever it is. The one big thing that we get from feedback on that episode is there's a lot of guys that were in a lot of dark places that reach out to us and we're like, "Hey man, your podcast really helped. Like, just the banter, just the laughing, it brought me back to when I was in the military. It brought me back to when I was in the barracks, or when I was deployed, or when I was doing whatever, or when I was working at a firehouse, or when I was on the night shift as a law enforcement, or, whatever it was." And he goes, it got me out of the hole that I was in. And we don't do anything special. We rarely talk about that mental health side of things, or, but I think it's just because we're not trying to be anything else besides ourselves is why it works.
That's what it's about.
Yep.
And it's awesome when we get those messages or emails. They're like, "Hey man, I was in a really dark spot and now I'm loving life, and I get a great girl, or my job's awesome now, or my kids are back in my life," and it's just like, we're just 4 degenerates that we like to drink and smoke cigars and bullshit in front of a microphone. And I mean, I don't know how we helped you, but I'm so glad that we did. And thank you for being a listener. And I hope that we help more people,
Yep.
Yeah.
John, I really want to say this is amazing.
I love it.
Dude, I don't really nub cigars, but this is amazing. So
I appreciate it, man. It's I feel like that's one of our very underrated cigars. We don't talk a lot about it. It's just called the 50 cal Field Maduro. But it's a banger of a cigar. It really is.
Yeah, quite a few people are jumping in and subscribing. That's awesome.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you guys for letting me shout that out too.
Oh, absolutely. It's I listen to quite a few different podcasts, and it's like, for the cigar media, we've got to support each other. I mean, there's not a reason to tear each other down. There's not a reason to it's like, we've got so many different people that are listening to podcasts. It's like, let share each other's show so people can listen to it, and just enjoy it. We're not the normal group of cigar smokers. Steve Saka said that on our show a couple weeks ago. He's like, these are the people that watch this stuff isn't the normal ones. The normal ones are the ones that buy 1 or 2 cigars a month.
Yep.
And we're smoking 4 to 5 cigars a day or more. So excellent. No,
it's awesome. And I always say, especially in this industry, because as big as it is a very, very small town.
Oh yeah.
If we all work together, we're all gonna do better.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
If we don't work together, or we decide that we don't like these people or those people, or this shop doesn't like this shop, or whatever it is, neither of you are gonna succeed.
Right.
You're drawing a wedge in between two locations or two places or two brands that do the same thing, that have overlapping customer base.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys just got along and you helped each other, it didn't even have to help, just like each other.
Yes.
Right. Then all the customers are going to be like, oh, both these brands are cool.
Yep.
If you guys hate each other and you fight, or these lounges, and you guys fight with each other, now your customers are going to pick a side.
Exactly.
Whether you want them to or not, they're gonna.
Yep.
Yeah.
So reminder to all of our listeners: if you want Warfighter to come into your local brick and mortar, talk to the manager. Tell them, hey, we want Warfighter. It's the easiest way to get a cigar brand into a brick and mortar, is to tell them, hey, I'm looking for this. I want this cigar, because if they know, hey, I'm going to sell them, they're going to bring them in. They're not going to pass it up. So talk to your local brick and mortar. Tell them, hey, I want this. I want this to be brought in, and I'll buy them. And you're going to start seeing a good response. So awesome. Well, Marty, you want to close us out, or try to close us out?
Sure thing. So I had this Garrison Corojo.
Yep.
Very, very great cigar. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Was very inspired by all the stories you had, and the stories about the Warfighter Scuba. We really appreciate you coming on, and look forward to Teddy bringing you into his shop.
Oh yeah.
And
me too.
Getting a foothold in the Chicago area.
Yeah, John. Before we leave, don't leave the.
Yeah, we're gonna trade info.
We're gonna talk. Yes.
Yep.
Until next week. I don't think. What do we have for next week?
It's open. It's an open show. Yep.
So we're gonna improvise.
Yes.
Just like tonight, I had to improvise, adapt, and overcome.
That's right.
When I first logged on, and like I said, I could hear you guys, and then it muted, and I was like, "Oh shit, am I late?" And they just muted me, and I'm out, and I can't be on the show today. And I'm like, "Oh shit!" So I left it back in. I was like, all I have is an email. I was like, "Shut up, email these guys."
Thank you, John. Appreciate you for your time, man. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you guys. Like I was saying earlier, the best way to engage with the end user, with the smoker, is either in a cigar shop or doing a podcast, doing one of these lives. You guys build followings, and you allow me to come on your show and talk with all of your listeners and all the guys that support you. And I appreciate more than I don't have words to show the appreciation that I have for it.
Yep.
It's an opportunity that I never believed that we would be offered. When we started, we didn't really have anybody that helped us. We didn't have a big brother in the industry to be like, hey, you got to do it like this, So it was all trial and error.
Yeah.
Back in the day, 10 years ago, getting on a podcast, it was hard,
Yeah.
Now there's a lot more, and people record a lot more often. So that allows us more opportunities to be able to get on some of these shows. But shit, when we set this up, what, like 6 months ago?
Yeah. A while.
It was a while, right?
Yeah.
And So yeah, going through my calendar every month. Oh, I got that one this month.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
You know, like it's so cool to be able to jump on one of these and talk with all your guys' listeners.
Yep.
And then talk with the hosts and share knowledge and stories and all that fun stuff. Absolutely love it.
Yeah,
All right, Marty.
we really appreciate taking the time. So we're here every week, Tuesdays. Tune in next week. Until then, put some smoke in the air.